Hey everyone, this is my quick review of the Canon 14mm. This is probably my favorite lens. I use it more than all of my other lenses put together because it's just good for any situation, whether you're extremely close or really far away, unless you're hoping for a telephoto shot and then probably want a telephoto. But this is an absolutely fantastic lens. It's 2.8, minimum is f/22. It has a 114 degree angle of view, which is extremely wide, and it's about 1 or 2 pounds. And so you'd for me personally, I never noticed it on the camera. It's almost like you're just holding the weight of the camera body. So it's great for walking around. The lens itself, great build quality. You get a kind of like a full lens cap to protect it, and of course has the bubbled front end, which is one thing that I don't like about the lens, because obviously you can't put a filter on it. However, you can still use with these little side things like a graduated neutral density or something, because it'll lay flat against this and then barely has enough room so it doesn't touch the lens. But it's extremely fast focusing, great build. And so if you do get this lens or you have it, always make sure that you know that your little bubble front end is there and that you don't hit it or scratch it. The things that I don't like about the lens is that it only goes to f/22. I wish it would go a tad higher than that for longer shutter speeds during the daylight. So if you're trying to blur the water at f/22, sometimes you can't get a slow enough shutter speed to get that really awesome blur. And of course you can't put neutral density or polarizer or any other kind of filter on the lens because it doesn't have a filter thread. So those are probably my only two things I don't like about the lens. And even if you had an adapter for the lens, it's so wide that if you set something on the lens right here, the lens would see that, as far as like an adapter or something on the outside. So it's just fantastic lens. It picks up anything and everything you can imagine. And online I think it says it has like a minimum focusing distance of like 8 inches, and I've focused images so close where the front bubble element is almost touching whatever the subject may be. And so it's fantastic, and if you're looking for an extremely wide angle, I would definitely recommend this, because like I said, it's just used for anything and everything, because you can focus so close or far away for great landscapes. Or if you want, the action sports, you can be laying underneath them and they jump over you and you can get the great picture. The distortion isn't as bad as everyone says. If you had, the 8 to 15 millimeter fisheye, that distorts a lot, and that's of course because it's a fisheye. But this, I have a sample video at the end that shows that it doesn't distort unless you want it to distort, and so you can get incredibly sharp images and don't have to have all the post-production afterwards of lens correction and doing all that for buildings. But anyways, here are some sample images that I took a while back at Rocky Mountain National Park just for this video. So none of them are fantastic shots, but this is just showing the minimum focusing distance. I was probably like an inch or 2 inches away from this tree stump, and as you can see, you get the whole bottom of the tree and some of the background. And so this is probably maybe 3 or 4 foot tall stump, and of course the top looks extremely huge and the bottom just falls off, so you can't tell what else was there, but that just shows how close you can focus with it. This was a vertical shot I did just to show you that it picked up the other set of trees up here. This was on a road going up to or the road of Trail Ridge, or I don't know, to the top of the point there, and I just pulled off the side of the road just to show that the road down here is just below these trees, and doing a vertical shot I picked up the other half of the trees and the sun. And here's the shot just at horizontal wide angle, and so you pick up a lot of trees, and as you can see with the trees, because I was pretty close, they start to kind of bow in. You get that circular effect. I don't know how well you can tell, but they slightly kind of sweep in and all kind of angle towards the middle. But here is a landscape shot at the top of, or halfway up the mountain, that just shows that at 14 millimeter how much you can capture of landscape. Same thing with this. And then this shows the different kind of perspectives you can get. So the camera's pretty close to the ground, probably 3 or 4 inches off the ground, but it makes all these rocks look extremely kind of elongated and big. It makes the background proportions look smaller, I guess you could say. And so you can get a lot of different, I'm not sure how to explain it per se, but you get different, I don't know, looks to shots depending on where the camera is. Same thing here, as far as the rocks are really tiny, but the perspective is different. Same thing here, the field that was kind of there was actually pretty tiny with the mountains in the back, but with the camera on the bottom, almost on the ground, you get more of a wider angle. And so that's pretty much as far as sample images and information. So if you have any other questions or something I maybe left out of the video, please feel free to ask. And at the end of this video, I'm going to attach a quick little mini video showing the minimum focusing distance and what the camera or what the lens looks like through a full frame camera with video. So please like the video if you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more. Thanks. Hey everybody, this is a sample video with the Canon 14mm on the Canon 5D Mark III. This lens is on full frame, and this is what it looks like through the camera. And this is coming from the front porch of my house. You get a very wide perspective with this lens. And the thing that I love the most, and just to demonstrate, is the minimum focusing distance. So the front of the lens is about to touch this flower, and it still focuses to about right there, and you can see the camera starts to create a shadow, and so it focuses extremely close, and so as you can see, you get a really wide angle with it, and the distortion isn't what most people say it is. As far as the trees, according to my screen, are straight up and down, and they normally are, always, even in a landscape picture. So hopefully the noise wasn't too bad from the wind, and I hope you enjoyed this review.